Hello everybody, my name is NikoTheLegend, and today I am actually doing something completely different. This is a live stream news-informed video, like the usual things I do for the Nico show, but except this time, this is actually going to be talking about just one thing. We are talking about Anthem, and this is actually going to be, usually I do BioWare-related videos, and they're usually a lot shorter, but you know what, I'm gonna take the time. I'm going to take the time and actually explain and read a few articles of what people are saying about Anthem and how I feel about it. And there's a lot to cover. I don't even think Anthem's actually out yet, right? Anthem's release is... What is it? What is its release date? Oh, it came out yesterday. Whoops. Okay, Anthem has been out for a day now. And, interesting. It came out on a Friday. I guess they're really trying to get rack in that cash grab, am I right? Anyway, if you don't know what Anthem is, it is a online-only third-person shooter game where you go loot grabbing, dungeon crawling, find a group of friends like Destiny, get a firefight going. You go through, you kill waves and waves of enemies. You have a somewhat of a story, if you can even call it that. And it's got a main hub like Diablo. Or Destiny. We're going to be comparing it a lot to Destiny, you know, because if anybody has played Destiny, you understand completely what I'm talking about. If you haven't, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we'll try to do it. We'll try to make sense of it all. But yeah, Anthem has been a game in long development for BioWare and EA for many years now. And like I said, it finally came out yesterday. And if you had early access, if you had certain EA privileges or something like that, like EA Pass or something, well, I don't even know. Or if you pre-ordered the game or something, a certain edition, you get to play it early access or something like that. And then there was recently a beta. Let me just say, you want to know why Mass Effect Andromeda was complete trash? Well, it's because of this subpar of an online shooter game. That's why. That is why this game is existing, because EA wants to cash grab on just shooters only, just plain Jane, online only, microtransaction, loot crap, whatever you can think of. And you know what? If I get some of these facts wrong, then they're not really facts, are they? If I get some of these wrong, big deal, okay? Big fucking deal. I'm pretty sure we can all be on the same page, especially BioWare, true BioWare fans, which is, what is true BioWare fans? Well, it's just people who really enjoyed BioWare for their RPGs, story narrative, such as Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Jade Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights. Yeah, the list goes on, right? So you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm listing some really great franchises that just don't see the light of day anymore because of this game coming out. We are waiting patiently for another Mass Effect game for BioWare to redeem themselves, and another Dragon Age game, which won't be out for a long time because of Anthem. Anthem. That's just all EA cares about right now. It's just they're putting all their resources into Anthem and BioWare. BioWare is as well. All the first stringers are playing the Super Bowl right now. All the third and second stringers are working on other studios. Anyway, usually for the Nico show, we just talk about... Hi, kitty. Get off. In the Nico show, we talk about what I'm playing in real life, you know, what games I'm playing, and then things that are happening in RL. But today, we're just going straight to it. I'm going through these articles, and we're going to find out how people are feeling about it, and let's just talk about it a bit, okay? This is going to be probably a shorter episode of the Nico show, but let's get right to it. Like I said, you know what? Before I get into that, I should just do this. Let's just look up a description of Anthem. Just real quick. Here we go. Explore a place you've never seen at a time you've never known. In Anthem, a new game from EA's BioWare studio. Alright, that's good enough for me. Other than that, I don't give a shit about this game. And I will let you know that I will never, ever play this game. I will never support a greedy corporation. This bad corporation, this greedy that we've seen make filth and filth after one another. Because of EA, Mass Effect was a bomb. and so will everything else from henceforward. Anyway, Anthem review. Let's just start with a review from a guy named Hayden Dingman off PC World. And you know what? There's a review like this off PC Gamer as well. It gave it a 55. And you know what? Actually, we're going to do this in real time right here. Hey, don't look at my links. We're actually going to be doing this. Metacritic. Let's look up Metacritic right now. We are doing this in fucking real time right now. Oh, would you look at that? A 60. A 60! The game's been out for a freaking day! 3.9 on user score. Okay, cool. Alright, 2 positive reviews, 32 mixed, 1 negative. 287 negative, 183 positive, 46 mixed. For example, I don't know why people hate it so much. I loving it, if you can't speak English, and all the issues will be addressed at Dread in the future. So a 5-year-old is playing this game and enjoying it. That's really great, guys. That's really great that a 5-year-old or someone who can't spell or write is just banking on the fact that you'll fix the problems later on instead of up front and actually having a complete fucking game out the door. Here's another one who gave it a 9 out of 10. Awesome game, awesome graphics, optimization. He can't even spell optimization right, unless he's from the UK. UK likes using S instead of Z's in these words. And gameplay, yeah, it's not enough content right now, but absolutely promising. What? What? Are you shitting me? You're playing a game that's not even complete out the door! Don't you not understand this? You're playing a fucking half-baked game! This is like another Fallout 76 problem, a Sea of Thieves, a State of Decay 2, a Crackdown 3. I listen to a lot of Xbox stuff, but you know what? Whatever. Battlefront 2. Oh, God. It's ridiculous. Mass Effect Andromeda. The games are coming out just completely shit. And not even having the content it's supposed to have. Oh, Nico, what content's supposed to have? I don't know. You tell me, people who give it great reviews. You're the ones that are so smart and apparently have good reviews about games. Well, I give these fucking shit EA company the benefit of the doubt, mate. Because they make bloody brilliant soccer games. And those are the people that support EA because they really like their soccer games. That's literally the only thing that's keeping EA afloat, really. Honestly and truly. Now, don't get me wrong, Battlefield 1 apparently was really fucking cool. And it was. I have the game. And Titanfall 2 was really good. But that's not selling shit anyway. Because EA doesn't understand how to release things properly. Anyway, 60 Metascore from critics and then 3.9 user score average based on 1,300 reviews. 1.3K. Okay, anyway, back to what I was talking about. It's just, I can go on forever with this crap. Get out of here. Alright, Anthem's first hours are enticing, but it's not long before you realize BioWare's run out of cool toys to show off. Oh, bells and whistles I see. Yeah. Oh, that's really great. It's like buying a lemon car. It looks nice at first, but once you start driving it, you realize how much of a piece of shit it really is, the true quality. He gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which isn't too bad. Anthem is a striking example of how familiarity breeds contempt. It makes, without a doubt, one of the best first impressions I've ever seen. It looks stunning as you delve into the heart of rage for the first time. Wind kicking up, sand and ash, heat roiling off rivers of lava, and that sense of awe continues for the first hour or two. I mean, come on, you can fly. It's amazing. You're bootleg Iron Man, rocketing through a lush jungle filled with crumbling temples and alien wildlife. Then Anthem runs out of things to show you and it all falls apart. Oh, boy. Alright, Anthem, everything has fallen to pieces. Here's an anecdote I think sums up Anthem's problems. I'll try to keep it spoiler light, but, well, to be honest... Oh, yeah, guys. If there's any spoiler-related stuff, but... I'm sorry, but by all honesty, the story is the most lackluster story, apparently, what I've read about. So who gives a shit? You like Destiny's story? Then okay, fine. Don't watch this video. Because Destiny's story was pretty... Well, non-existent in the first game and then pretty average in the second game. Pretty cliche. But Anthem doesn't really have any. Whoops. Let's see, to be honest. Oh, yeah, it's also great that it's from BioWare. You know, not really story-related. Yeah, that's story-focused. It's really fucking cool, EA. Really cool. I don't really know why, because there's not much to spoil. Oh, like I said, much on that later. Regardless, if you're worried, stop reading. Alright. Anyway, I'd finished up a bunch of busy work missions and finally reached a point where it seemed like the story was full steam ahead. We tracked down the location of an ancient tomb, the resting place of a long-lost general, with some insight on our current predicament. This place that had been apparently lost to time, a ruin hidden deep in the jungle. It feels like an important moment in Anthem. One of the few. It's the climax of everything you've done up to that point. I've reached the tomb. I opened it. I stepped inside. I prepared myself for amazement. And you know what I found? Giant scorpions, the same filler mob enemy I'd fought over 12 hours at that point. They had a nest inside this long-lost tomb. Alongside my crew of match-made stranger partners, I plinked away at these giant scorpions until they died and they got to business inside the tomb. It's hard to explain the sense of disappointment with about 12 hours of context, but let me put it this way. I be like reaching a climactic moment in Skyrim or Dragon Age or some other fantasy RPG and finding out the long-lost Emperor's tomb was populated by cliches of cliches. Giant rats. Like, that's it? That's great. Good. And this is the fundamental issue with Anthem. It never changes! Kind of like War and Fallout. It never changes. War never changes. What you'll see 20 hours in is basically the same stuff you'll see when you start the game. Same abilities, same weapons, same paltry handful of enemy types, same missions, same everything. I won't deny Anthem makes a great first impression. I can't deny that, actually. Right out the gate, the mobility feels fantastic. Flying with a mouse and keyboard takes a bit of getting used to, but why would you play mouse and keyboard with a third-person game? Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, but soon I was hovering over the battlefield, delivering huge payloads of fire and lightning to enemies below. Then flying around a few pillars to dodge incoming fire, returning to a hover to pick off a few more enemies with my sniper rifle, going to ground to deliver a finishing melee blow, and so on. The guns don't feel quite good as Destiny, but the abilities certain do. I don't know how good Destiny guns really feel like. I mean, they work. Isn't that what really matters? I don't know what he's talking about there, but that's pretty subjective. Just like this whole video, after every mission, I returned to base and swapped in new abilities on my mage mech. The aptly named Storm Javelin, first a lightning strike, then a series of fiery detonations, then huge chunks of ice, and then an orb of fire that chased enemies around the battlefield. It's very flashy and fun to try out new combinations. Again, the catch, it never changes. Within 2 or 3 hours, you'll likely earn one of each ability. You'll keep leveling and keep earning more powerful versions of those same attacks. But since enemies scale to your level, it pulls like an Elder Scrolls thing or Fallout. The damage numbers never go up in a way that feels at all meaningful. The awe-inspiring lightning strike ability you get at level 3 is effectively the same one you'll see at level 20. Why do people love level scaling? Do you just make harder dungeon modes and shit? You know, just challenge people. Just raise the difficulty, not just keep the people just always strong. God, you know how tantalizing it is to just pwn a mob and then just move on? People do that shit all the time in World of Warcraft. They just go around just cutting shit up back in Goldshire, and then they're like the highest level, and they look fucking amazing. They're like, "Whoa, you're cool, man." No, not in this game. Apparently everyone's just a noob, right? Just always. It's really good. And as I said, familiarity breeds contempt. The first time you call down lightning on our enemies, amazing. Like anything else, it's susceptible to diminishing returns, though. And by the end of the game, it's hard to elicit any excitement over seeing that same animation again. The same goes for guns. There are maybe 24 in the entire game, split into a few subcategories: assault rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns, and so on. You'll see them all in the first 2 hours, and then it's just a matter of picking the higher level version of the ones you like using forever. In other words, folks, there's not much weapon variety in this game. It's a lot of recycled bullshit. There are a few perks on your gear. Those are what distinguish a level 21 weapon from a level 2. Tags that add slightly more assault rifle damage or more shields or whatever. In practice, these aren't very meaningful though, or at least they're not meaningful until you get to masterwork weapons, which have interesting effects, like instantly reload shields when you empty the magazine. Unfortunately, the game doesn't dribble masterwork weapons out as you go. It saves them all for the end game. And by the way, people have already found exploitation to reach the end game without even playing the fucking game. Can you believe that shit? Oh, man. Thus, the vast majority of your time with Anthem as it currently stands is spent with the same handful of weapons, the same handful of abilities, and it quickly becomes a chore. It's a loot game with no interesting loot. Missions likewise fall into a few categories with infinite repetition. Sometimes you go to a place and kill everything. Sometimes you go to a place and kill everything while standing in a small green circle, waiting for a timer to fill. Sometimes you kill everything while hunting down a handful of objects and returning them to a central area. Either a magical doorway or sometimes an ancient bit of machinery called a sharper relic. That about covers it, really. You know what? Whatever. Anthem is a shooter. It doesn't disguise that fact. Anthem, the Division, Warframe, Far Cry, they all boil down to the same... Hey! To the same limited number of actions. Ad infinitum. But for some reason, Anthem just feels more nakedly repetitive and more artificial. Maybe it's a story problem. It's not hard to point a finger in that direction because nothing in Anthem matters. Nothing in Anthem matters. Thank you, BioWare, for making games where choices do matter. I guess you really built your foundation once you ended Mass Effect 3, didn't you? And now we're really starting to see it in full form. Thank you. Thank you for where nothing matters. Anyway, let's keep going. This is a pretty long review, so deal with it. When we previewed the game last month, I typed out a few lines of Anthem lore as an example of how exhausting its world building can feel. Nonsensical sci-fi jargon falling out of every single character's mouth, and the full release doesn't fix the issue. It's all Anthem of Creation, this and Legion of Dawn that, and if you don't believe that your Javelin works, then it won't work anymore. No, seriously, that's a real plot point in Anthem, albeit one that's mentioned in a single side conversation and never brought up again. Listen, I made it through 20 plus hours of Anthem, I still couldn't tell you what the titular Anthem of Creation is. I have an idea, it's some sort of world-creating force that's gone are we? But why did it go that way? Who built it? If anyone, why did they leave it behind? Is it a machine, a pool of energy, or is it just a metaphor? I don't know. Likewise, Shaper relics are hinted to be this incredibly dangerous anomaly we need to take care of as freelancers. Conversations indicate they can mess with space-time or like turn a person inside out or level a city or whatever. Nobody really knows. It's a plot device with literally infinite possibilities. Plot holes. Anthem wastes it. Not only do Shaper relics pop up approximately every other mission, thus rendering them not as quite as threatening as you expect, but the only ones we see spawn the same boring enemies you fought a million times. That's it. Sometimes it's wolves, sometimes it's scorpions. It really doesn't matter. Oh, there's one cool Shaper relic, the Manifold, which does some interesting stuff I won't spoil in a cutscene, but only in a cutscene. The actual culmination of that particular storyline comes and goes in the span of 2 generic missions and is never mentioned again. And this is the stuff I can actually explain. Lost to time, the rest of the plot. No, seriously, I can't tell you what Anthem is about. There are long, expensive-looking cutscenes packed with lore that doesn't ever seem to come into play again. There's a world... You better get down, you little shithead. Alright. Packed with lore that doesn't seem to ever come into play again. There's a world-ending event, the Heart of Rage, that actually doesn't end the world. And then someone else decides to take over the Heart of Rage, but it never explained why they want to do that or what they might gain from it. But it's, yeah. Nor does it even do a good job explaining why you need to stop it. It keeps trying, though, I'll say this. BioWare sure did write a lot of story for Anthem. Problem is, none of it's very interesting. Fort Taurus is the main story hub, and the game kicks you back there after every mission to stand and have intermindable conversations with a bunch of quirky characters who don't really seem to have any idea on how humans act. They're constantly volunteering their most personal secrets to the person who walks by in a way that feels wholly unnatural and disconcerting, even by video game standards, or prying into your past. You're always looking for trouble, says your friend Owen. Is that what made you want to be a freelancer, do you think? Nobody talks like that. Or at least not unless they're a therapist, a first date, or maybe drunk at 4 a.m. and that line's delivered right after a couple of "I love you, man" slaps on the back. One old man within seconds of meeting him tells you a story of how he let 6 other people die in a collapsed mine in order to save his own life. Again, you just met him! And he volunteers this information. It doesn't help that the whole experience reeks of Uncanny Valley, which characters are stunning on a technical level but over-emote like the ghost of the Polar Express. I haven't seen that movie, but I can only imagine. This isn't a traditional BioWare RPG, and it's never really seemed like one. Well, there you go. That's why you shouldn't play this piece of shit game. But I don't even think the story is very interesting by shooter standards. It starts kind of awkward, then fumbles in the middle, then fizzles out in the end. I won't spoil the finale of this arc or anything, but to give you an idea. That's what I thought. After you've wrapped up Anthem's campaign, it teases the next story arc due to release in March by introducing Grandmaster Adams, ostensibly the leader of the entire freelancer organization, a character that's literally never mentioned in the preceding 20 hours. That's the kind of writing we're dealing with here. He's apparently your leader. He runs the group you supposedly spent the last 20 hours rebuilding from scratch. And he doesn't even factor into the story until after the fact. I honestly thought Anthem's story up to that point was meant to paint me as the leader of the newly resurrected freelancers. But apparently not. Bottom line, and now for the catch-all caveat. Anthem is an ongoing game like Destiny 2, like The Division, Rainbow Six Siege. There's a potential for EA to build on this foundation and address the problems I've noted here and add in new loot, new enemies, and new mission types in a way that meaningfully changes the game. There's a chance we're back here next February saying, wow, actually, Anthem is fantastic now. It happened with The Division, it happened with Destiny, it could happen again. All I can do is review the game I was given, though, and the game I was given is mediocre. Functional, sure, flashy, absolutely, but it's a puddle disguised as a lake. A universe with so much potential that makes good on almost none of it. To make matters worse, I don't think the core loop is interesting enough to keep me playing. The tougher endgame enemies are so damn spongy and the shooting isn't nearly as tight or as punchy as Destiny, a game that kept me playing long past the point I'd exhausted its similarly dreadful story. I'm just not having a good time with Anthem, nor do I feel like there's anything left to discover aside from a handful of vaguely interesting masterwork effects. It's going to take a complete overhaul of that loop to get me dip into Anthem again. I hope BioWare can pull it off. Again, other games have accomplished this more with less. But we'll see. Well, there is a review of that. Oh my god, it's 24 minutes already. This might take longer than I wanted it to, but whatever, we're going to keep going. Guys, if it can't even go up against Destiny or Destiny 2, it can't compete with it. Oh, lordy, that's just pathetic. Destiny 2 is pretty fun. I don't know why people are so butthurt about it, but it is a pretty good game nowadays. But Destiny 2 apparently didn't have the content. Destiny 1 didn't have the content. The Division didn't have the content. Rainbow Six Siege, like he listed here. And eventually it all came to be. Sea of Thieves, the same thing. State of Decay 2, same thing. But here's the thing. I hate it when these multiplayer games, all they do now is just release these expansions 3 months later instead of 6 months to a year. Just release updates. But anyway, it proves my point. If the story isn't good, if the characters aren't interesting, if there's nobody interesting in the game, if the gameplay is all there is relying on it, but it's not even a good loot shooter, it's not even detailed, it has no content depth, it's tedious, repetitive, the same shit you see over and over. And I understand things can get actually repetitive when you're playing an RPG because you do the same thing over and over and over again. I get it. All games do that. But when it's just banking on first impressions alone, with, ooh, look what this has, bells and whistles, and then when you're actually in the car driving away, you realize that you were fucking tricked. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Here is BioWare spreads out Anthem's 90-day roadmap. You know what another thing is? Another point to make? Don't let an RPG story narrative game franchise work on a multiplayer shooter. Don't ever do that. It never ends well. That is completely changed. That's like when Visceral Games worked on Battlefield Hardline and all they were good at was making scary games like Dead Space for a while. Don't ever do that to a company. That's how you get them shut down, EA, you freaking mongrids. Freaking stupid heads. In world events and add a new progression system built to May's Cataclysm. Oh boy. Let's see, 3-month roadmap. Wrote yesterday. Day 1 patch went out yesterday. Had a dozen fixes and balance adjustments. Oh, that's fantastic. The next 90 days from Anthem's first. Do you remember when? Do you guys remember when they never did this shit for games? Where it was just you get the game and it's good right away and they don't need a fucking roadmap for you to see? You just knew the game was good right off the bat? And you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I could see, some progression here. There's some things being worked on. But never does a company used to ever reveal a 90-day roadmap. That's insane. It's freaking insane. But anything owned under EA deserves a roadmap, right? Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing half the time. Please, EA, just hopefully no one in there is gonna die. But just burn your company to the fucking ground. Whoa, Nico, you're getting taken it way too far. No, I'm not taking it far enough. That's the problem. People don't take it far enough. Alright, let's just talk about the things they're talking about. Things kick off next week with 3 in-world events and continue with a series of March updates called Evolving World. These will bring back 2 of the 3 events. There will be Giants and Outlaw Outrage, while also offering new cosmetic items in the first phase of Anthem's legendary missions. Okay. April, Stronger Together is about enhancing interaction and competition in Anthem's multiplayer. That means a new stronghold, a weekly stronghold challenge, leaderboards, and guild support. This month begins phase 2 of the legendary missions and a new progression system, plus 7 free play events. In May, Anthem's Cataclysm starts bringing together another free play event, new missions and rewards. No other details were mentioned. There are locked spaces for Acts 2 and 3, suggesting they will close out the last 180 days of 2019. Oh boy. Oh, you hear that, folks? Okay, so that's it for the roadmap. Oh, let's just read this again. Legendary missions, which we know what legendary missions, like heroic dungeons and stuff like that, or just epic raids or something like that. And a new progression system. A new progression system. In 2 months into the game, a new progression system already. You have to work on a new progression system. World of Warcraft had the same progressional system for fucking 5 to 10 years. Oh, God. This is terrible. They were talking about guilds and stuff. Why is it so hard for guilds to be a thing in online shooter games? Like, why is that so difficult to have clans from the beginning? Why is that hard? All you have to do is just have a social interaction aspect to it and some things, some things. Hey, you want to join my guild? Yeah, no problem. And that's it, right? No, I'm just kidding. It's a lot more difficult than that, but it's simple, though. It's simple. It's one of the things that should have been worked on in the beginning, like faction stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. This guy's review of Anthem was not charitable toward the game as it exits at launch. We found endgame content to be glaring shortcoming in the combat, while Marvelous was poorly supported by the mission design and a plotting narrative. BioWare, narrative. You guys are good at this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hi, Kitty. Bye, Kitty. All right. This one talks about searching for BioWare somewhere in Anthem's Fort Taurus. How long is this article? Okay. Let's just see. It's hard to know how much BioWare fans will hear about this part of the game and how it's been built for them to explore. Certainly, there's been plenty to talk about in the early impressions and reviews, but the main Anthem gameplay loop and how successful BioWare has been at nailing that. But I encourage BioWare fans to try Anthem Sunday for its Fort Taurus stuff. There's a half a BioWare game here if they know how to look. What does that tell you guys? This is still proving my point. All right, so let's just go on to the next article. You guys can look up so many things about this. Sorry if I'm rushing. Let's see. 7 things. 7 problems, the biggest problems with BioWare's Anthem. Eric Kane is a guy who does a lot of reviews. Let's see. Co-op is no substitute for good NPC companions. Mission design. Fort Taurus. The fucking social hub, goddammit. Combat. Overheating and flight controls. Story issues. Menus, UI, minimap. Okay, let's go to the next one. But not the studio's destiny. Oh, look, another review talking about the game, how it's not that great. Isn't your typical BioWare game. Oh, wow. Nico, you're skipping a lot of stuff. Just remember, 60! 60! Critics gave it 2 positive reviews. 32 mixed, 1 negative. Let's see who gives it good reviews. Okay, we'll sign off with this. We will sign off with this. Let me just tell you this, okay? Let me just tell you this. If you watch the launch trailer for Anthem, you will learn nothing about the game. It doesn't tell you anything. It's a minute-long trailer. Do you remember how fucking epic BioWare's trailers are for Knights of the Republic, Mass Effect, Dragon Age? You got a sense, or Jade Empire, you got a sense of what the hell they were trying to let you play. This whole time, up to Anthem's launch, has just been muddled with confusion, transparency, and a marketing campaign that just is the shittiest I've ever seen in my entire life. To where the people on stage, Casey Hudson and whoever else, weren't even excited to really play this game. They're not really excited. They really hate this kind of game. And they know it's fucking shitty. That's why they're just always liking everybody that says good things about it. It's like, oh yeah, maybe not. No, it's still a pretty fucking shit game, mate. But Nico, you don't even know. Yeah, I have to play it to understand how shitty it is. That you know what? You're exactly right. Let me just waste $60 fucking on a broke ass game on a company that's going down the shitter. I'm sorry, I don't want to support a company who's let me down the past 3 years now. Okay, I'm talking about EA and BioWare. Battlefront 2 with Mass Effect Andromeda. And now Anthem. Fucking Anthem is a huge disappointment. Guys, you don't have to be such... You don't have to support them so hard to where it's like, oh, it's another multiplayer game. You guys just need to do your research. It's just research. I mean, I don't have to be... well, I don't even know. I don't have to be, what is it called? A skydiver in order to like skydiving. You know, some things just interest us, right? And it's like, oh, Nico, they could be interesting to these people who want to play it. But do you realize who's behind the strings, though? Okay? Alright? I'm safer skydiving with a skydiver guide with me than playing this garbage game made by a famous developer who's a piece of shit now. You know, it's always about who's pulling the strings here. Anyway, folks, this has been kind of a long, informative thing, but you know, I could have gone way more into depth, but it'd just be the same crap I'd be talking about over and over. Listen, if you're playing Anthem and you've been playing it for over 20 hours now and you're seeing some light in the darkness, that's great. I'm glad. But let me know what you guys think about the game. Just keep me informed. I want to know what you guys like about it and what you don't like about it. I want to know if we're on the same boat here. I want to know, because I'm sorry, along with me and many others, you can just see in the comments of my other videos, we're all on the same page. We don't want to support this POS game, this poorly designed game that BioWare has made, another flop. Okay, we don't want to support a company that just leaves their biggest franchise on ice or in the shitter. We just don't want that anymore. We just don't want that, and especially when EA is supporting it. Anthem is what killed Mass Effect, the franchise, for a long time. But guess what? You know the truth is that once the next Mass Effect game comes out, we probably wouldn't even really think about Andromeda, will we? If it's good. Maybe BioWare will break away from EA at this point. God, I fucking hope so. They pull a Blizzard. I mean, they pull a Bungie from Activision. Oh man, I hope. Anyway, folks, if you like what you saw today, follow me on the Nico Twitch channel, NikoTheLegend, and follow me on YouTube as well. This will be on YouTube. I think I don't know. I don't think I'll edit it. I think I'll just put it up as it is and just give it an official title, though. Please, guys, talk to me. Let me know how you feel about it. I want to know. Bye. Thank you.